What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Errol, the Truth Spence. Get this. Errol Spence claims that Crawford fought a one-legged Jose Benavidez, and it was his toughest fight. Errol Spence has picked apart most of Terence Crawford's wins within the welterweight division. Crawford's rival has pointed out that the three division champion stoppages of Shawn Porter, Kell Brook, and Amir Khan came against faded fighters who were clearly compromised by the time the unbeaten WBO welterweight champ took them out. Spence is certain that he defeated fresher versions of Porter, whom he beat by split decision in September of 2019, and Brook, who lost by 11th round knockout to Spence 6 years ago. Spence also noted that Virgil Hunter, Khan's former trainer, has said that Khan wasn't the same fighter following his brutal 6-round knockout loss to Canelo Alvarez in 2016 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Khan's loss to Alvarez took place almost 3 years before Crawford defeated England's Khan by 6-round technical knockout in April 2019 at Madison Square Garden. And he said, Crawford and Jose Benavidez, he said it was a good fight. Spence stated he fought a one-legged Jose Benavidez and it was the toughest fight of his career. It says a lot. When asked to elaborate on what he says about Crawford, he says, he fought a one-legged Jose Benavidez, so what do you think it says? Okay. He said, I feel like I did amazing, Benavidez told sports.com late in 2021 about his loss to Crawford. He said, a lot of people thought that I was going to get stopped in 2 or 3 rounds. You know, I was actually trying to fight Crawford right before I got injured. I feel like me being injured played a big part in that fight, but I'm not going to make excuses. But he beat me. He was better than me that night, but I was honestly fighting with one leg, and I feel like I gave him a great fight. Those are the words of Errol Spence and Jose Benavidez and about Terence Crawford. And let me counterpunch. Jose Benavidez, yeah, you could tell he was kind of stationary. But then this is my counter. When Terence Crawford beats fighters, they're never the same, right? However, no one really says anything about Terence Crawford's wins when he beats undefeated fighters. They talk about the Gamboa fight. He was 135. Wow, he got beat by or hurt by him, right? He got hurt by Gamboa, but people fail to realize that he was undefeated, right? He took the O from Gamboa. He took the O from Jose Benavidez. He took the O from Jeff Horn. He took the O from Victor Postol. He took the O from, who else did he take the O from? A lot of other people. He took the O from a lot of fighters, but then yet don't get credit for that. There's always excuses. Okay, now talking about Shawn Porter, a faded version of Shawn Porter. Okay, it would be different. Let's say Shawn Porter was faded. Let's just say, for example, he wasn't the same fighter. Well, that means he should have got stopped, right? That means that if you were that good, Errol Spence, why didn't you stop Shawn Porter? Oh, that's right. Shawn Porter was that good, so he's not that good, so he gets stopped by Terence Crawford. So what does that really mean? Does that mean Terence Crawford's better than you with a guy that fought, which is less intense than when you fought him? You know, Kell Brook, what do you say about him? He was damaged. Okay, wasn't he damaged when you fought him? You didn't fight a fresh, undefeated Kell Brook. You did not. You fought a Kell Brook that just got beat up and busted up and broken up by a 160-pound champion, Gennady Golovkin. Okay, so don't act like you got him when he was fresh out of the water and undefeated. It would have been more impressive if you did, but if you didn't and you fought just as damaged enough fighter of Kell Brook, then don't say anything about that, because you know you took a part in that too. You and Terence Crawford took a part in breaking this man's face further. Okay, so don't act like, oh man, he fought a left version of Kell Brook. So did you. So what are you really saying? Shawn Porter, yeah, he got stopped. Okay, where's the excuse? Oh, he wasn't the same kind of fighter. But he was winning on the scorecards. The Shawn Porter I saw fought Terence Crawford didn't sound like and seem like a slouch at all, even though that was his last fight. Now he's total full-time podcast Shawn Porter. However, I didn't, and I will never see, and we will never see, a diminished, fucked up, faded version of Shawn Porter. We won't see that, because that's not the Porter way. Okay? The Porter way is go hard or go home. And obviously, his father, Kenny Porter, shout out to him, found it better in his interest to let his son fight Terence Crawford, or he trained enough to convince his father that he could beat Terence Crawford to let him get his ass in there. It was until he came in there and found out, oh, he's not that guy that I thought he was, because he's not doing that against Terence Crawford. Now, that could have been all a ploy on preparation purposes on what his father thought he could have done more in the gym. You know, I talked to Kenny Porter, and Kenny Porter told me, well, he was getting hit with things that I didn't like him getting hit with. Me personally. I personally know Kenny Porter. So, for these guys that are saying, like Errol Spence, like Jose Benavidez, I'll get to him, saying that, oh, well, if it wasn't for this or if it wasn't for that. Well, Jose Benavidez coming in with one leg. Well, obviously, he got cleared by the board to get a boxing license to fight. So his ass is game. And he was undefeated. It ain't like he fought a guy and while his leg was busted up and then, you know, he can't fight, or he then fought Terence Crawford. Okay, and then that would make more sense to say. Okay, but guess what? What about his second loss? What about Jose Benavidez's second loss? Benavidez's second loss was to who? Danny Garcia. Now, did we hear any excuses when Danny beat him? No. We didn't hear any Danny Garcia excuses. So why are we hearing all of this about Terence Crawford? Why? Because Danny didn't stop Jose, did he? No. So let's put it this way. Danny Garcia can fight and defeat a one-armed or one-legged guy, Benavidez. No one gives him stick about it. Terence Crawford can stop a one-legged guy, but then yet, oh, he was still one-legged. But nobody mentions the one leg when Danny Garcia goes the whole 12 rounds with his ass. Nobody says shit, right? Okay. And that wasn't even a bad loss, because he went toe-to-toe with Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia was just smart enough to get in and get out and throw those punches and land those punches. And he really surprised me. You know, shout out to Danny Garcia that, you know, he's a pretty good boxer despite the way he delivers shots. He's good at timing with those winging Puerto Rican Philadelphia hammers, right? But no one said shit about that. Everybody wants to ridicule Terence Crawford's accomplishments. And you know what this is? You know what this really does? This really sets Errol Spence and everybody that follows him, everybody that makes excuses for Terence Crawford's wins, it makes you guys look stupid at the end, and you're setting yourself up for a huge fall. I mean, a huge fall. Why? Because when he beats Errol Spence, what the fuck? Then it's going to really look bad. Damn, he beat you too. And you know what's sad? You're trying to shit on someone's legacy and trying to shit on how bad a person was or how handicapped that fighter fought these guys. But then when he beats you, what are you really going to do? What do you have to turn to? You don't have anything. You've ran out of every excuse before you fought that guy. So when that guy gets in front of you and he does the same shit to you that he did to Kell Brook, Jose Benavidez, Gamboa, and and Shawn Porter, okay, then you guys will then say what? Oh man, I don't know about it had to be the car wreck. He couldn't take them shots. There you go. You know what I mean? And it's going to be sad because you guys or breaking down a great champion when you should be rising and picking up a great champion. So if you do fuck around and beat Terence Crawford, you can say how good he was versus how good or better you was than him already been a Hall of Fame fighter and a 3-division champion. How about that? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Errol Spence and Jose Benavidez tag teaming Terence Crawford and his performances against his victories. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!